all of my infinite beings and friends. Welcome back to Infinite Wisdom. Yeah? I know y'all like that one. Stop it. I know y'all did. Alright, guys. Well, today, we're going to be talking about being a healer, or an empath, which I am both of those. And being a healer or an empath, or even honestly any sort of infinite being that has the strongest ability and will to help. Now, with being these different things, your whole main concept of what you're here for is really just it's to help, right? It's to help fix things. It's to help find solutions to problems, right? It's to help better people in the situations that they're in. And being a healer, honestly, it can be kind of frustrating sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. It can be very frustrating sometimes because there will be definitely times where there's someone who desperately and direly, guys, need help. And you want to do nothing but help them. You want to do nothing but fix the things that are going wrong in their life. And it's like you're playing tug of war, right? Because it's like you're battling with what you're supposed to be naturally doing versus the fact of, should you really help with this situation? And it can be a very, like I said, it can be a very strenuous thought process for us as healers, is because that's all we want to do. That's all we want to do is just help people fix things, make sure everything is easier for them. And what I actually have noticed over the years is that you really can't fix someone. And what I mean by you can't fix someone, I mean that the person that you're working with, they have to be willing to want to be fixed, right? They have to be willing to accept the help, you know? And you can't force yourself upon people to try to help them and better themselves, or to try to help them to fix or resolve an issue, unless they want that issue to be resolved or fixed, or unless they're already understanding that this is an issue and something needs to be done. And I kind of get yelled at a lot, by my ancestors, because that's all I want to do is help. And being a healer and an empath, there's a lot of emotion racing, guys. Like, there's a lot of emotion that races, and it just, it kind of saddens me, but I understand. Because there are certain lessons that people have to learn for themselves. We can't go around fixing everything, or we would have no life, or we would have no control if we kept absorbing other people's energy all day long, 24/7. We would have no energy left to help anyone else. And I've understood that. Going through this awakening process, it literally woke me up to so many different things that I never understood about myself before. And that's why I want you guys to take the time as well to try to understand yourself, to try to understand the different abilities that you guys all have, because some of us have different abilities. We don't all have the same abilities, so it's going to take for you to understand yourself in order to understand what you need to do, how your body works, how your abilities work against other people, how your abilities, make you feel, and all of those different types of things. But honestly, it's like, it's painful though. You know, you have those situations where you're like, I just want to help them so bad. I just want to help them. But then you get, you know, your ancestors, right? Which mine love to get on my case. But, you know, you get your, you know, you get your followings, or your angels, your guardians, you know, or even the universe, and it just stops you in your tracks, and they're like, hey, what you doing? Go ahead and walk backwards. Don't even go that direction. That ain't for you right now, right? It's telling you like, hey, this is something you can't fix. It's letting you know that this is something you can't fix. And honestly, it may just be the fact that you probably could fix it, but it's time for them to start learning. There's going to be points in time where they need to handle this on their own. And it's like, if they're not ready to handle it, then they're not ready to handle it. You have to let them go. You have to let them go on their own journey so that they can learn their own mistakes. Just as a child, just as a parent would do for a child, they have to learn their mistakes. Once you start learning that life has mistakes, and unless you're ready to fix those mistakes, or unless you're ready to understand those mistakes, or unless you're ready to, you know, actually face the challenge that's in front of you, honestly, it's like there's really no way to go with this. Now, guys, I'm not saying that being a healer, you know, you're never gonna, you know, everybody needs to learn. But, I mean, it's true, though. You know, everyone does need to go on their certain path alone. There is a certain path that takes people literally on these paths, like us right now. Like, we're in this awakening, and we've been woken up so that we can go on this path. When we took this path of our awakening, we had to do it alone. The reason why we had to do it alone, right, was because most of the stuff that we had to deal with was within ourselves, right? And most of the time, those are the situations where people usually have to take, you know, adventures or challenges or whichever on their own, right? So it's kind of like that, right? Just think about it like this is a time that they need to deal with this on their own, right? If they're not ready for it, then they're just not ready for it. And maybe they'll be ready in the future, right? Even if you're giving someone advice about something, and you could tell them 2, 3, 4 times, right? And they still it just doesn't click for them, right? It just means that they're not ready to accept what you're giving them, right? Being a healer or an empath, you know, all that energy, all of that connection coming towards you, you can only give so much. You can only do so much. And sometimes, if you feel like you have to keep repeating yourself about a certain thing or a certain aspect, and you felt like you were helping someone, then maybe they're just not ready, right? And maybe this is just, and it could be also that, yeah, they're not ready, but baby, well, baby, okay, all right, baby. No, all right, guys, all right, we're good. But I'm a clown. I'm sorry, guys. But no, seriously though, like, well, maybe there are, you know, phases right now that the reason why they're not listening is because they need to learn this on their own, right? The reason why they can't be ready is because they haven't been ready to do this. And they've gotten support to do it, but they still can't do it. So now, this is coming to a time where they have to do nothing but solve it for themselves. And if they're not ready, then they're just not ready for themselves. And if they are ready, then they're ready to move on and be a stronger person. Sometimes you gotta let people fly and drop to the ground. So once they hit that ground, that they will know that, all right, well, let's try a different method this time, right? Sometimes people have to teach themselves, and sometimes we can't teach everyone, because if we did, we would have no lives. We would have nothing. We would literally probably disintegrate into air. Like, I'm so serious. But guys, you know I can go on and on and on. But I know as being a healer, guys, you don't want to hear it because you got stuff to do. All right, guys. But I'm going to leave that right there for you guys. No, seriously. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and let me know how you guys are feeling. Okay? You know, when they're not ready to listen, just say you want my lights. You can't have it. Okay? Just say that one little line. One little line. All right, guys. Peace, love, and inspiration. And we out.